Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Salvadad here, coming to you with another video. Yeah, I haven't made videos in a while, so I decided to put this one up. Yeah, this video is going to be telling you, for all those players out there, let's say you're a player that just got into the game, or you've been in the game in a while, but you just have trouble winning. And everyone says it's because of your deck, but you don't know how to change it. So yeah, this video is going to be talking about how to build a good deck. Good deck building tips for the format in general, and just in general good deck tips. Okay, so let's say you're a new player just getting into the game and you want to like build a deck that's competitive and all this, but you don't have like the money to like go and blow $200 on like Gear Gaias or Gear Gigas or whatever you want to call them. A deck I like to recommend to people is Samurais, like 6 Sams, because the structure deck basically has everything they need, and they just won the last YCS. I mean, they're a really good deck, and there's this, like I said, the structure decks are good. What else? You can run Gravekeepers; those are pretty standard. Machine just basically depends on your budget, but 6 Sams are really a good way to go. Yeah. So yeah, let's get to building a good deck. When you're building your deck, even if you're not building 6 Sams, if you want to build like a special deck, every deck needs a win condition. What a win condition is a way that if you draw the certain stuff and have all the plays, you can win. Like, for example, the Gear Gaias, their win condition is, well, it just depends on your version, but basically using this guy right here, Gear Gigan Armor, setting him and flipping him face up to search these guys and special summon them, and then exceed and do your combos and do all these different shenanigans because of this guy. So that's your win condition with that deck. Another deck example would be the Inzectors. Their combo these days, like Billy Blake, is to exceed. So if you like that, that's a good deck. And then the last one I have is Heroes. Their goal is to go into fusions or exceeds and go off and do all their combos. So that's their win condition. So when you build a deck, you got to think about like, what am I gonna do to win? What do I need to do to win? Do I need to build something to bring this guy out? Do I need to bring like Psychic Grand Soil too? That's another thing, you know, going for your Psychics and then going Grand Soils when you have 5 and keep doing that stuff. But you gotta think about that, like what am I gonna do if I have the perfect plays? Am I gonna win? And how fast is it going to take me to set up? That's another thing you got to focus on too, is speed. How fast is it going to take me to do this combo? It's not going to take me all my cards to do this combo. The faster the combo is, the better the deck is. That's why Gear Guys are so good, because if you draw into this guy, you have your setup for the combo. If you draw into this card in that deck and this guy, you have the combo. I mean, every deck needs to set up, but once it sets up, it goes. It's just how fast you can set up. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. Let's see here. Hand traps. Hand traps are a key component to the deck. Right now there are 2 main hand traps. Effect Veilers and Maxis. I don't have them. They're with my brother right now. But Maxis are really good for windups or anything that special summons, and these are amazing to negate monster effects. Hand traps are key to the game. They're those cards that you can keep your hand advantage, and if you do need that extra Veiler, that extra thing, it's really good. The nice thing about Effect Veiler and Maxi eventually is they both are reprinted, so they will be. So they're really easy to pick up, especially with Veiler. I mean, it's had probably 6 reprints. So it's just all up to you and what you want to get. So yeah, once again, inexpensive itself. Max C, that's going to be inexpensive here in a couple weeks when the tins come out. But yeah, so now let's talk about monsters and spell and traps. For monsters, normally you want to run around, just depends on the deck, normally 18, I'd say 17 to 20 monsters. Unless you're running heroes, then you only need 10 or to 12 at the max. You just gotta know your deck and like how many monsters you need, but you never want to go over probably 23 at the most, unless you're running Chaos Dragons. Like, see, it just kind of depends on the variants. The average decks, though, run 20 to 23 monsters. 17 to 23 monsters. Let's just put that number. So, yeah, that's kind of the average monster lineup. Now let's go on to spells. Spells are pretty cool. Yeah, most players, you need your important spells, like for MSTs to pop the back row, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Darkhold, don't have those, but Book of Moon as well. And then you can start putting in stuff like, let's say you need dualities to speed up your deck a little bit. You can run those. Let's say you're running 6 Samurais, you can put in your Gateways, you can put in your Sheehan Smoke Signals, whatever you need. Like, just to search that extra stuff and that. I mean, it kind of just depends on you. I mean, some players don't run trap, or they run all spells. Some players run around, I think the average is about 12 and 12 these days. So 42 is the normal number. Okay, yeah, let's go into the traps now. Traps are really kind of tricky for everyone, seems like, because they're like, what do I play? There's so many different traps. Right now, this trap is really popular. Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, Bottomless. And then these two are also kind of popular, Mirror Force and Compulse. It's kind of just what you can pick your hands up on and like what your deck needs. But I would definitely recommend picking up Solemn Warnings and one Judgment. Solemn Warning is probably the best trap, in my opinion, because, I mean, you have to pay the 2,000 life points, but it negates the effect completely. I think it's one of the only traps that negates it completely. So let's say you're dealing with a Gear Giant X and you Solemn him, his effect doesn't go off. I mean, but with like other cards, like I don't even know, like Mirror Force, it would. Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of opinion. Normally people play 8 to 12 normally, but it's up to you. Let's go into talk about side and extra deck. Normally you need a side deck or an extra deck. Extra decks are key. You put your Exceeds in there. Exceeds are so easy to bring out. I see those people that run all these different 4s and 3s and they don't run Exceeds, and it makes me mad. I'm like, why don't you pick up some Utopias? Utopias are common. Why don't you pick up some Gem Knight Pearls? They're common. Just they're so easy to get nowadays because of Konami's reprint policy now. I mean, it's like you just gotta look, and trading is key to that. Like, but you're gonna have to spend money. This is not a game where you can make money right away. You can make money off this game. It's really hard to do, and it takes a lot of time and effort. And you cannot just come into this game thinking you're gonna win. I mean, if you have buddies that have cards, that's great. But if you're coming into this game fresh and all that, unless you have like $2,000 at least, you're not gonna come into this game and just win. It's way too hard to understand, and so you need to start off with something easy and cheaper. Like I said, budget players. These would not be for you. Yeah. But yeah, so side decking is also key to the game. When you side deck, you want to side deck cards that hurt decks. For example, some people will side deck Thunder Kings. Thunder King is kind of the main staple of this format, if you ask me. I couldn't find one at this time, but Thunder King to me is like, what was it last format? Well, we really didn't have one last format. Thunder King is just an amazing card. It's really broken, and I mean, it stops plays, and on top of everything else, it's a 1900 beat stick. So, I mean, it can get over a lot of stuff. So, if you're not running Thunder Kings, that's really bad. So, you should find some Thunder Kings. Once again, a common. I mean, yeah. You just gotta look around, guys. Another key side deck card, like, if you're facing warriors, you can side deck those. Oh yeah, there's my Thunder King. Okay, so Thunder King is key to this, probably this format. If you're not running Thunder King, you're bad. I mean, it's too good not to run it in any deck. I would have 3 in every deck, side and main, 3 in every deck, and I do. So yeah, but yeah, that's just an example. 15 in each of those, and then. But yeah, you kind of just decide what you want to run. Like, Hero's hardest matchup is probably the Wind-Up, or the Dark World matchup. So no, not Dark World. Hero's hardest matchup is the Gear Guy Wind-Up matchup, so they're going to side heavy against those. But they also want to make sure they side in a couple things for those random decks, or those decks that they think they can win, but then they don't. So yeah. It's all about being a good player and deciding and playing around with your deck a lot and thinking, what could I do? What do I need to side against this deck to win? But you can't always rely on the side deck, because the side deck is the side deck. It's not saying you're gonna draw that card every game. Whatever. You need to make your main deck so it's good against everything. But the side deck will just give it that extra oomph if you draw it to win. So yeah, guys, that's my little thing on deck building. Hope you guys liked it, and rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.